technology is a tool, and in some cases it's a toy. Nonetheless, it's a tool for productivity, it's a tool for distraction and amusement, entertainment. But if we allow it to control us, then as being presented here, we're going to lose our humanness. Before we get into the video that I'm going to react to today, looks like only 4% of you are subscribing. Hit the subscribe button so that you can be notified whenever we have new releases. I've noticed that y'all really like these reaction videos, so leave comments below and let me know what you'd like me to take a look at next. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Help Me Understand with Dr. Thomas Jeffrey. We're going to be watching a video produced by After School, and this video is about Human 2.0, essentially spiritual warfare, how technology is impacting humanity. Stay tuned at the very end for a brief introduction to an idea of a challenge that I have for myself and for you. Technology as a tool can be both positive and negative. But in terms of this artificial intelligence and the robotics that we've been exploring, this video creates a really good cautionary tale for us and sort of awakened me to what's going on and possibly some of the things that I should be aware of as I am embedded in this technology world. So let's go ahead and take a look at this.
Beautiful deep divers, another beautiful day in another new spot. Woo! Breathing in that good ass prana, baby.
No kidding.
We are living in the greatest times of change in human history.
Yeah.
The world is changing, deep divers. Oh yeah, global pandemic is changing the world. But not only is the world changing, human beings are changing. There is a term called Human 2.0. And this is how human beings are going to be upgraded.
One of the reasons that found this video interesting is that there, at the same time, there's some explanation for us. There's also within it a much deeper, I guess, narrative and meaning that resonated with me.
Human beings are going to become human machines. Well, this process is actually accelerating. What did I tell you? They want a world without touch, no feeling. A world without smiles, no meaning. We are living right now in a whole new world.
I think we can all resonate with that. We feel it. We see it all around us. We see people that are so entranced or entrenched both with their devices, and in particular the smartphone. If it's not on the screen, then it's not real. The idea that we're losing feeling, that really grabbed my attention when I first heard this.
Become familiar with three terms, deep divers. The first one is transhumanism, okay? Transhumanism is when human beings integrate with technology. That's already here.
It's already here.
How do you know that? Because a lot of people spend a lot of time, wait for it, on their phone. In fact, the average screen time in the US, for example, is 3 hours and 43 minutes.
That's the average. It's all evening, all morning, however you want to look at. 5 minutes, every 5 minutes, every other 10 minutes. Some of the studies from the Generation Z and millennials, much higher rates, sometimes in the double digits. So, you know, you think about somebody spending 10 hours a day or 12 hours a day on their phone, that's a lot of time.
That's 50 days of the year
50 days.
People spend in technology. There's another term called post-humanism. And this is after we have integrated with technology, a world after that, okay? And there's a term called singularity. And this is where artificial intelligence supersedes human intellect.
He's described transhumanism as technology embedded in us, alluded to post-humanism, But post-humanism is an idea, is a theory that we will actually become so integrated with machines. Everything that we experience will be from a technological perspective. We'll have some technological aspect to us. And in fact, we may even, there's a lot of folks who would say that it will just be creating simulations in which we live.
Now, this is the great goal of the inorganic ones. Ray Kurzweil, the futurist, also director of engineering at Google, said that by 2045, we will have reached singularity where humans are overtaken by artificial intelligence. And recently he actually said that date is going to be a lot sooner, probably by 2029.
The singularity means that it's going to become more intelligent than humans. So what we don't know about that, and which others have made a point to bring up, is that we have no way to measure just how intelligent AI could become. The singularity is just that point where it's smarter than humans, more intelligent than humans. There's no way for us to predict is how much smarter will it be? How much more intelligent? And when you think about network computers, when you think about all of the how we are connected today, and how much more power and information we have, data that we have because of that, when machines become smarter than us, they will also have those capabilities. And as technology advances, they're going to have, I mean, just think about 5G, a recent advance in technology. How much more quickly do we have access to things? Something that we need to consider as we look forward into how humans and technology is going to, and machines in particular, are going to coexist.
Everything you see happening in the world right now is because this is where the inorganic ones want to steer humanity into human 2.0. And right now, human beings have to make the greatest choice they've ever had to make in their entire lives.
I can't agree with or stress enough that point. We are at a point of choice. Individually and community, society, we're at a choice, and in a lot of ways it seems like we don't really understand that what's going on with technology and how quickly it's not just being developed, but how quickly we seem to be controlled by it. And there's plenty of evidence out there. People before Congress talking about how these social media and other things are being developed and created to control. Let's be fair, we choose them, we allow them, but they're being developed in order to keep our attention, to control our attention.
We're going to get through this. But I told you, I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear. People are starting to wake up. The Great Awakening is right now, and this is the great paradox. It seems like everyone is just falling asleep, plugged into the matrix. No, millions of people are waking up because this is the time for the Great Awakening. And this is why the inorganic ones are waging spiritual warfare on humanity, because they do not want you to wake up. They do not want you to reclaim your power. They do not want you to realize no computer can be as great as a human being. Slow motion this side. Because the one thing artificial intelligence does not have that human beings do is a soul. And this is why they want to steal your soul and put it in the AI. Listen, deep divers, let me tell you this. This is the greatest time we have for an awakening. It's the greatest time we have for an awakening, because right now, many people are seeing their freedoms being taken away. And I told you, if you do not fight for what you want, you will have time to cry for what you lost.
Wow, that's profound. I love that. He nailed it.
Many people are now realizing the severity of what's happening on the planet, this human 2.0 agenda, where human beings are actually becoming artificial intelligence. A lot of people are distracting themselves every single day in this matrix, on TikTok, on Instagram. Many people are actually more in love with their phones than other human beings.
He's not wrong. I look around. And I know that that's a generalization, but it resonates. If they lose their phone, it's like someone dear to them has died. I agree with everything that's being said here, and the idea that, you know, we could debate whether there's a God or whether there's not a God, some of this, but I think most of us have this sense of humans being different. We know, and there's something within us, and like him, I call it our soul, our spirit of being human.
And this is exactly what the inorganic ones want. They want to replace you with AI because this is the only world they can survive in, a world of artificial intelligence. They have to make sure that people are disconnected. They have to make sure that people are in fear because this is the only way they can control you.
Every day.
This has been going on for thousands of years.
That's right. That's not
people moving away from what it means to be human. To be human means to be humane, which means to have compassion for all life forms on the planet. Many people right now are doing anything for attention, not even realizing their freedoms are being stolen away from them. Their freedoms are being taken away from them.
That's right.
Their freedoms are being hijacked because you're so distracted on TikTok, on the gram.
Your freedoms are being hijacked. In some ways, we think all of this overwhelming, the news that we get about, you know, wars and rumors of wars and UFOs and all of the things that are distracting and create fear and we feel it. We feel the anxiety of all of these things, and we think that there's nowhere to turn, but there is, and we'll get to that.
You don't even realize that the inorganic ones are creating a beautiful prison for you, and in this prison, you will no longer be human. Now, let me tell you this. Spiritual warfare is upon us, and you have to make sure you're on the side of love, peace, justice, because I told you, they ain't gonna stop until they have your soul in their hands.
And that's hard to hear. That's hard to hear. But we feel the drain that all of this technology that is overwhelming us. It's everywhere, in everything. You feel it. I feel it. They're not going to stop.
Millions of people are starting to say something isn't adding up. Something is wrong. Why are so many young children having anxiety right now? In fact, there's even COVID anxiety syndrome. You see, this whole pandemic is creating a great mental health crisis. As a psychologist, we have to protect our children. Mothers, shout out to all the mothers who are protecting their children right now, standing up for their freedom, saying, we ain't having it. I told you, if you do not stand up right now, you're going to have a lot of time to bow down to the inorganic ones. One way to navigate this human 2.0, this new human they are creating, is to make sure you are in a state of meditation. Every single day I come out into nature, woo, breathe in that good ass prana, baby. And I realize that I'm a co-creator of my own reality.
That's right.
You see, once upon a time, human beings had everything they needed. And they still do. It's just that they have forgotten. They are gods and goddesses in amnesia. Gods and goddesses in amnesia. You have to wake up to realize that inside of you, you have something better than Instagram. Inside of you, you have something better than TikTok. Inside of you, you have something better than the news they're giving you, full of lies. Reconnect back to that place and remind yourself, I told you about perception magic. This does not have to be how the world will be. It doesn't have to be human 2.0 where everyone's a cyborg. No, we can actually collectively create the world we want if enough people come together with unity, put aside their egos, and set the intention.
He's not calling for never, ever, ever use technology. What he's calling for is we have to push that aside long enough to regain a sense of who we are. We have to decide what technology we're going to use. We have to decide that we're human, and that to be human means to live with compassion, to live in love and not in fear. And it's just a tool. Technology, and I tell my students this, technology is a tool. And in some cases, it's a toy. Nonetheless, it's a tool for productivity. It's a tool for distraction and amusement, entertainment. Whatever case, it's just a tool. We decide as humans, we need to decide, and we need to make that distinction. We need it as a tool like a hammer or any other tool that's ever been created. But if we allow it to control us, then as being presented here, we're going to lose our humanness.
All it takes is 1% of people who have the same intention to change the entire collective reality. And this is why they don't want people coming together. Well, guess what? It's already happening. Nobody can stop it. They can't censor the truth because the truth is already out there.
Yeah.
What? I want to remind you, deep divers, just remind yourself, they are afraid of love because love creates a world they cannot control.
That's powerful. Love creates a world they can't control. And if you've never read George Orwell's 1984 or Huxley's Brave New World, these are examples of why do you think he's using Orwell here? Because Orwell had a vision of what could happen, but here's telling us, don't succumb to the fear. Live in love.
If you want to find a way out of this pandemic, if you want to find a way out of human 2.0, remind yourself, love is the greatest weapon you have. Love is their kryptonite. Make sure you aren't just thinking about what they're feeding you, because this is how they create the reality. It's called perception magic. For example, the news will tell you about what's going to happen. If enough people think about it, they collectively create that reality. Make sure you are thinking about the world you want to live in.
You create what you think. Perception is everything. There's a sign in our building that says you don't see the world as it is, you see it as you are.
Human beings are not physical creatures alone. No, a human being is a spiritual being having a human experience, a multidimensional being having a human experience. And this is the secret they've been hiding for millions of years. The good news is that more and more people are starting to wake up to that fact. There is nothing quite as special as a human being who knows themselves, who reconnects to themselves, and who comes together with other human beings to spread love.
Yeah.
Remind yourself, technology is not a negative thing, but it should always be our servant and never our master. They want to make technology, the AI, they want to make it your God. Never bow down to AI. Always remind yourself, it should serve you. It should never control you.
We should be in control of AI or any technology or any tool for that matter. We need to be the ones that control it. But we find ourselves in a weird transition where we're being controlled even without even really making that decision. It's slowly happening. We're slowly getting technology so embedded into everything that we do that we don't even realize how burdened we are, how much control it has over us. And so we are in a time where we have to come to a realization of that. We do have to make some decisions and have the discussions and conversations. And I think that one of the ways that I've been thinking about this is in terms of exodus from the technological control. As I mentioned at the beginning, I want to create a challenge for us. There's a tradition in the Episcopal Church and in the Catholic Church, and it's called Lent. It lasts for 40 days. What I challenge you and others to do, including myself, is to do a texodus. Yeah, I'm making a play on words from the book of Exodus where the Israelites came out of Egypt. But in a lot of ways, it's the same thing. It's the tyranny of those that control the technology that want to control us. And so to remove ourselves, to come out of that. In the description below, take a look at, I'll include the document there so that you can take a look at it. And I challenge you to do a Texodus. I'm not naive. I know that we have to use technology to, most of us, just about all of us, have to use technology to do our jobs. And that we also need technology to communicate. And I'm not saying to remove technology entirely. If you can do that, then I challenge you to do that. But more, I challenge us to remove the technologies that are distracting us. And so essentially, the goal is for 40 days of introspection focused on minimizing our abusive use of technology while developing an understanding of what it means to be human by intentionally seeking out our divine spirit. As I've thought about this and contemplated it, meditated on it, listened to that divine word of whether I should do this or not, overwhelmingly the answer is yes. If you have questions about it, put them in the comments. I'll be happy to talk about it. Thank you for watching this episode of Help Me Understand with Dr. Thomas Jeffrey. Hit the like button, subscribe to us, and get notified so that we can increase the message that we're trying to put out here.